Hi, my name is Alvin, and today I'm going to be talking about the health of our oceans. So a lot of things in our oceans have to do with pollution, there's plastics everywhere, and there's a lot of alien species that are going into what would be native waters, and they're making them endangered. So one of these populations is the killer whale. The killer whale is currently on the endangered species list, and companies like SeaWorld it's a tourist attraction that has funding and research to be able to help them help killer whales in their natural habitat by putting some of them in captivity and showing them to the world about how beautiful the creatures are. But questions should be arised by this. So my argument is that SeaWorld's killer whales are dying off because of a lack of a natural habitat, and while there are no new killer whales in captivity, the ones that are still there still suffer. So to get a background on this, killer whales, according to the NOAA fisheries, the killer whale, also known as the orca, is one of the top marine predators. It is the largest member of the dolphin family, or the oceanic dolphins. So that shows that these dolphins are really big. So to keep them in captivity, they would need a really big space to be in. They would need a lot of water to go around in, constant maintenance, and you kind of have to wonder if they're in these kind of cells or captive cells and stuff, do they really have that much room to swim around in? So the lack of a natural habitat, according from this source from the International Business Times, they said while the official cause of death won't be determined until the post-mortem exam is complete, she had an infection, likely pneumonia, and they were aggressively treating. So this is talking about a whale that died in California shortly after being put in captivity. She was only in captivity for around 3 weeks, and it was just because of the stress of being in that small of an area. It tends to put a lot on a creature like a killer whale, especially because they need so much room to be around in. So it's basically like slowly torturing them to death. So what SeaWorld's, about SeaWorld's impact, so right now the pollution in the water is, according from the Ocean Health Index, which is from the stimulus source, that the World Watch Institute reports that at least 267 species of marine wildlife are known to have suffered from entanglement or indigestion of marine debris, mostly of which is composed of plastic. So there's so much plastic, and it's only rising more. And SeaWorld's effects compared to what's actually happening, they seem to not be doing anything, little to nothing at all. So let's see if this is actually from SeaWorld themselves, or is it just too big of a problem. So according to PETA, according to Linda, a spokesperson from PETA, the statement is saying that what they have to say about SeaWorld finally ending capturing new killer whales in captivity. They said that the phasing out of killer whales is not really going to do anything. This is because the killer whales that are still in captivity are still suffering, and every day they're put in this kind of intense pressure. So because they're put in this, they're still going to be stressed out, and no matter how good you say you treat them or whatever, they're not going to be actively in a good place, in a good state of mind. So this is a source from the PR Newswire. They say, aside from SeaWorld, there's no other organization with the access to 20 years of data and samples of this quality. This study is as robust as it gets, and as our work will provide a critical measuring tool for determining how the animal health specialists can assist a whale in the wild. So this is kind of saying that as well as the SeaWorld is kind of keeping them in these pods and kind of in this kind of captive place, they also they are doing some funding, but while they're doing some funding, the funding is not enough. They are still within this, they still are rapidly declining killer whales, and it seems that SeaWorld is not doing nearly as enough as it should. SeaWorld is primarily a tourist attraction, and so they're going to keep whatever keeps the company first instead of what actually keeps the killer whales in mind. So if you think about it that way, the SeaWorld is kind of thinking its killer whales as like a secondary option. It's not their primary focus, as well as like expanding or building. So all in all, SeaWorld with the killer whales in captivity, they're constantly putting pressure, and although they've stopped putting new whales in captivity, the ones that are still there are still suffering, and the only reason that they would ever be kept alive, the only reason that they would ever get out is through death. Thank you.
Thank you, Alvin. 2 questions for you. First up, what information did you need before you began the process of research?
Before I began the process, for research, I first needed to know exactly what SeaWorld was and their kind of programs. I chose the killer whale at SeaWorld because that's kind of like the star of the show. And having personally been to SeaWorld and seen like, oh, these are like really big animals, and SeaWorld is we're constantly trying to help these animals. So prior to that, like, I kind of raised questions of my own, like, do they actually do as good as they say?
Okay. And explain the level of certainty you have with your resolution.
My resolution, I would say it's pretty okay, but I would say I could do better with by suggesting other things such as like 4Ocean and other companies that actually put the health of the animals first rather than their company. I feel like they would do a lot better than